Should be good. Recording now, Maureen.
Okay. Welcome everyone to this virtual community meeting to discuss NPA 2022-0010.01. If you haven't done so already, please let us know who's here by typing your name in the chat box. If you're associated with an organization, please include that as well. I will use this as the meeting sign-in sheet. Please mute your microphone if you're joining by phone, and please turn off your video if you're participating online to save bandwidth. This meeting is being recorded and will be publicly posted to the speakupaustin.org/NPA website. If you do not want your image viewed publicly, please turn off your camera. My name is Maureen Meredith. I work for the City of Austin Housing and Planning Department. I am the Plan Amendment Case Manager. Heather Chafin is the Zoning Case Manager, and this is our contact information. Jesse Gutierrez will be the facilitator tonight. The agenda is I'll go over basic case information, guidelines for group discussion, how to participate in this process, why is there a plan amendment application, what is a future land use map. I'll do a brief presentation covering the plan amendment and zoning requests. Then Michelle Hossman, the applicant's agent, will do a presentation. Then we will open the floor to questions and answers. Property addresses are 2615 and 2617 East 6th Street. It's 0.7056 acres. The project name is 2615 to 2617 East 6th Street. The case number is NPA 2022-0010.01. The request is to change the future land use map from industry to mixed use. The associated zoning case number is C14 2022-0122. The request is to change the zoning from LICONP, and that is Limited Industrial District Conditional Overlay Neighborhood Plan, to CSMUVNP, and that stands for General Commercial Services Mixed Use Vertical Mixed Use Neighborhood Plan, and the proposed is a mixed use multifamily and specialty retail development. Property owner applicants are Kenneth and Dorothy Ane. Agent is Michelle Hossman from Land Use Solutions. Guidelines for group discussion. Please feel free to type your questions into the chat at any time during this meeting. Please postpone general comments during the Q&A session. After staff and applicant presentations, if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand by clicking on the hand symbol on the menu bar. Telephone participants will be able to speak during the Q&A session of the meeting, and we'll call out your last 4 digits of the telephone number. Attendees may be muted upon arrival and through the staff and applicant presentations. Then staff will open the floor to questions in the chat or by attendees raising their hands to speak. Similar questions may be grouped and answered together. Please mute your microphone if you're not speaking for the sake of sound quality and clarity of conversation. If you're having connection issues, turn off your video until called upon to ask your question. We ask that you be respectful to each other during the discussion, and if there are continued personal assaults, it may result in being removed from the meeting. How to participate in this process. As mentioned earlier, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the speakupaustin.org NPA website. You can email or call me or Heather anytime with any questions or comments. If you provide written comments, they'll be added to the staff case reports that will be included when the cases are scheduled for Planning Commission and City Council. The cases have not been scheduled, but when they are, you'll get a notice in the mail if you live within 500 feet, and the notice will have instructions on how to participate in the public hearings. So why is there a plan amendment application? Neighborhood plans are adopted by City Council as amendments to the Imagine Austin Comprehensive Plan. City Charter requires zoning changes to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, and most neighborhood plan amendments are amendments to the plan's future land use map. Most neighborhood plan amendment cases also have an associated zoning application. So this map shows the areas in blue that have city council approved neighborhood plans. The neighborhood plans include a plan document that has vision and goals, and also a future land use map. And on the future land use map, these colors represent broad land uses. For example, a commercial land use is represented as red, single family is yellow, industry as purple, which is the existing land use on the property. Mixed use is brown, which is the proposed, and multifamily is orange. So this shows the close-up view of the future land use map and the property, which shows it as purple, which is industry. To the north, the land use is single family and multifamily. To the east is industry, and to the southeast, mixed use. To the west is mixed use, which is the brown color. Aerial photo shows the property. And also the Google map shows the property and some of the surrounding uses. Aerial photo of the property that shows the land uses again. This map shows the zoning on the property, as I mentioned earlier, as limited industrial district, conditional overlay neighborhood plan. And you can see to the north, the zoning is SF3, that single family zoning. MF2 is multifamily zoning. To the west is also the LI Cmty. To the southeast is commercial service mixed use, vertical mixed use, conditional overlay neighborhood plan. And that is the zoning to the west as well, except with the V. This is the Imagine Austin Growth Concept Map, and these colors represent regional centers, town centers, neighborhood centers, and activity corridors. So here is a map that shows the property in proximity to the corridors and centers. So you can see it is right on the edge of the Plaza Saltillo Neighborhood Center. It is south of East 7th Street, which is identified as an activity corridor, and also to the west, North Pleasant Valley is also identified as an activity corridor. This map shows the property in relation to public transportation. So the brown dots are Capital Metro bus stops. You can see the two brown lines are the Capital Metro bus routes. The line with the dots are urban trail networks. And you can see the red line is also shows the Metro Rail. That ends my presentation. I'll stop sharing my screen, and Michelle can start hers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Maureen. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for facilitating the meeting, Jesse and Maureen, and we are happy to be here and able to present this case to the community. So I will go to the next slide here. So as Maureen mentioned, we do have both a neighborhood plan amendment and a rezoning case that we filed in July of 2022. The plan amendment is what's called an in-cycle neighborhood plan amendment, where we have the ability to file the case once a year, and so it's considered in-cycle. And here's the development team. I will introduce our team members that are on the call today. Draper and Kramer is the developer, and we have Gordon Ziegenhagen and Tony Ayala here on the call if there are any questions. Trube Corporation is also the development partner. We have John Trube and Christy Guzman on the call as well. And Land Use Solutions, we represent the applicant, and we have Evan Olszewski with my office is on the call as well. So that is the development team. We also have Mark Hart Architecture. They are a local Austin architect, and Wiest Group is the civil engineer, Scott Wiest. He's local as well. So that is the development team working on this project, and we look forward to working with the community. This is an example of, you see here on the left, one of Draper and Kramer's developments. and I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. And then you see here on the right, one of Troop Corporation's developments here in Austin. And then in the middle, you have an example of the mixed use type developments that Draper and Kramer has developed. So you can see that they're high quality developments and they are experienced in developing this specific type of mixed use development. So Gordon or Tony, would you like to go over a brief description of Draper and Kramer?
Sure thing. Thanks, Michelle. Draper and Kramer, we're really almost 130 years old. We're a family-owned real estate and financial services firm, and but really we primarily do two things. The first is that we develop and own multifamily properties, and then we also provide commercial and residential mortgages. We are based in Chicago, but we currently own a little over 8,000 units of multifamily housing across 5 states. Illinois, Missouri, Colorado, Arizona, and of course, the great state of Texas. We are, I would say, though, most proud of two things. And the first of which is that we have wonderful resident retention at our properties. We even have about more than 20% of our residents have lived in one of our properties for 20 or more years. Which is maybe unusual in the world of multifamily housing, but it speaks to the fact that people like to live in our properties. And then I think really the fact that we're most proud of is that unlike most commercial real estate firms, we're a very diverse company. In fact, over 75% of our staff are either minority or women. We're also long-term owners here. So in fact, a number of the properties that we own in our portfolio today, we developed in the 1950s. And then, finally, and Michelle said this, earlier, I mean, we like Michelle and the rest of our team, we pride ourselves in being good neighbors and working closely with the communities we serve. We love East Austin. We're really excited for this opportunity.
Thank you, Gordon. John, would you like to make some comments, or Christy? You might be muted.
Okay, sorry. I am muted. Sorry, nice to meet everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm a native Austinite, born and raised Austin High, University of Texas, and have done a lot of development over the last 25 years in Travis County, as well as Hayes and Williamson and even Caldwell. Everything from master plan communities to mid-rise, high-rise, multifamily, mixed use. I office on the east side. I love all the diversity, and within my complex we have restaurants, retail, hair salon, office. Over on East Cesar Chavez, and this property is obviously really close, which is part of the attraction to keep doing more fun things and compatible projects in this area. Anyway, so look forward to working with the group here. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. So Maureen outlined the site. So it's known as the East Poultry site in East Austin, and it's outlined here in blue. It's got the rail line on the south side, and very close to HEB, and it has I guess we would call it a kind of a mixed use retail across the street, which has a really good restaurant, and I'm going to remember Hops and Grains. I've been to several events there. And so it's got a good mixture, I think, of different types of uses, residential, commercial, walkability. So I think that's what's really attractive about this site and proposing a mixed use development to add to the neighborhood. This is a close-up view if we need to look at that to answer any questions. So this is the proposed conceptual site plan that the local architect put together for us. So the idea would be to have what's called a vertical mixed use project, a VMU. And that requires specialty retail on the ground floor. And then the residential would be on the top floors. The proposed amenity center, which would include the amenities for the residential development, would be included on the corner. You have access off of Kaya Street, which is the street running north-south. And then you would have, obviously, pedestrians can walk up and down on the specialty retail side. It would have on-site amenities, swimming pool, fitness center, typical elements that you would see within a residential mixed-use development. So the proposal, again, it's 0.7056 acres, so say 0.71 acres. 230 residential units are proposed, and then that ground floor retail, we don't know the exact square footage now, but could be in the range of a few thousand square feet that would be along that 6th Street side. So as Maureen pointed out, the FLUM is industry, and I have some history in the Holly neighborhood plan that this was actually established industry by the plan in 2001. So it has remained the same since that time, and that was to accommodate the existing East Poultry site land use. So again, industry matched up with the existing use back even from 2001. And then on the zoning side, LICONP, that was zoned by the Holly neighborhood plan as well. And it was zoned in 2003 to the LICONP. The CO is just a few uses that were prohibited, and I'll read them out to you. Basic industry, residential treatment, general warehousing and distribution, resource extraction, liquor sales, scrap and salvage, and recycling center. So those were all prohibited uses. When we rezone this tract to the proposed zoning, those uses are not permitted anyway. So there would not be that same CO wouldn't be carried forward because those uses are not allowed within the zoning that we're requesting. The site itself is located on what's called a core transit corridor. And in the city code, the establishment of the VMU, which is the vertical mixed use combining district with the zoning based district, are encouraged on core transit corridors. So on this property, it does meet that requirement. So again, just to reiterate, we're going from industry to mixed use, which is, I'll go back to this map here. So the brown that Maureen pointed out that's surrounding the tract is the brown that we're requesting under the neighborhood plan amendment. So we feel that since to the west here and to the south and these properties all here along 6th, we feel it's consistent and compatible with the surrounding zoning and land uses. And then for the proposed zoning, the CS mixed use and V, which is vertical mixed use, would allow the combination of residential and commercial. And so again, if we look back at this map here, we felt that this was a good candidate for a mixed use zoning district, which is Mr. Jesus Trulio's, his property here next door, who we've been in communication with, would be compatible with his MU as well as compatible with the MUV. We understand this property here to the south is being redeveloped as well. And then also if you see these other corners, CSCO, MUNP, as well as CSV. So you have GRNP up here, which is also a commercial district, and then also the MF2 across the street. So in combination with the residential and commercial uses, we felt that it was consistent and compatible. So several questions that the city asks when you are filing your application: where is the nearest bus stop? The nearest bus stop, you see where these dots are, is about 0.1 miles from the site, which is a good walking distance. The nearest school is Zavala Elementary School, and that distance is 0.5 miles. Sorry, I had to make you guys smaller so I could see it. The next item is the nearest bike routes. You've got some pretty good bike connectivity around this particular site. The nearest daycare is the Capital Metro Child Care Center, which is 0.4 miles. You see the dotted line here to get to the front door. The nearest greenbelt, you have the Boggy Creek Greenbelt, 1.1 miles. which the dotted line goes up here. The nearest recreation center is Park Zaragoza, which is 0.2 miles distance right here. And then Park Zaragoza Neighborhood Park as well, the neighborhood park, which is again 0.2 miles. And that concludes our presentation, Maureen. We're happy to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. I know there are a few folks who joined us who might have questions.
Yes, I do.
Almazan, yeah.
Yes, I do have a questions about wondering if we can see the maps again, because I'm wondering about the parking lot, if that has something to do with our property. It seems to us very close and it represents an issue for us. So I would like to see the maps again,
Yes, ma'am.
please.
Okay, so I'm going to go to. So the site and the subject property is outlined here in blue. Which parking lot are you mentioning?
On the other one, on the other, this is not the picture, the other one. We are on the 7th Street, close by Weberville.
So are you asking if that's part of the subject neighborhood plan amendment?
Can I see the other one, please?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry about that. Here we are.
A ver, let me see. Another one? You have another one?
Go through these real quickly. Yeah, Maureen, did you maybe have a map that was more zoomed out than what I have?
The one that has the dots on it?
Oh, yes. Okay, the dots. Got it. Okay. Ah, you're talking about here, Weberville?
Yes,
Okay, so Weberville and 7th Street.
and 7th Street, right there?
Uh-huh.
That one is 8, 7, okay. Yo creo que está bien, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so the subject property is here in blue.
Okay, gotcha. No,
Okay,
no, no. It's okay, those not interfere. Sí, miras, ¿verdad? La distancia.
Morelos y Verbo
Mhm.
y Celeste.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone else joining us that's not part of the team, but if you have questions, how's the time? You can also put them in the chat.
Sí, de pronto puede traer más negocio a ellos. La cosa es que no interfiere el parking lot.
No, porque estamos lejos.
No está tan lejos, pero son 7 acres lo que ellos van a agarrar.
Está bien.
Están esperando a que alguien diga algo. Pero no está
Está
bien.
bien. Está bien. Y hablas bien, ¿no?
I guess we could give it a couple more minutes in case maybe if the Almazan family has any more questions.
No, sir. No. Our concern is about just, the utilities and how, like we have a building across the street, just across the street, and we have a lot of issues with the dumpsters, and we overcharge because they don't respect that, the parking lot. And you know how the city of Austin reduce the spaces for the disability person. So it's a small right there. And that's the only concern for us. The business is okay. We don't have no problem. That's fine. Everybody can do whatever. It's just like think about parking lot and taking care about the dumpsters and things like that.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for your comment. But your property is over on Weberville and 7th Street, you said.
Yes,
Right?
2200 East 7th Street.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably but like quarter mile, half a mile away, maybe.
Yeah.
Maureen, how long do you typically wait before you do your exit slides?
Maybe I'll go ahead and do the follow-up slide and see if anybody has any more questions. Well, if people are thinking about questions, and if anybody comes in at the last minute, I'll go ahead and just go over the next steps. So what will happen is after this meeting, my plan amendment team will meet and we'll make a recommendation on the plan amendment request. I will forward that information to Heather Chafin. She is the zoning planner. The zoning team will meet. They'll make a recommendation on the zoning request. Then we'll start working with Michelle on scheduling the cases for planning commission and city council. Holly does not have a planning contact team, but any of the people who live within 500 feet want to submit a letter of recommendation, we will include that in our staff case reports.
Maureen, can you put your maybe full screen on your slide just so we can get your number and email a little bigger? Great, thank you. Okay, any final questions or comments from the team before we close out and stop recording?
I would say thank you both, Maureen and Jesse, for coordinating this meeting for us and giving us the opportunity to speak to the community. And if there are future questions, all of our team is available to answer them. And we will work with anybody that reaches out to either Maureen or Heather during this case. And we are happy to have individual meetings and conversations to make sure the community has the information they need. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I guess with that, we'll sign off. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.